Tonight in the redistricting battle, California is inching closer to a November special election to ask voters to give the okay to redraw the state's congressional maps. Now, this is in response to President Donald Trump's push for Texas to redraw congressional maps so Republicans have a better chance of keeping control of Congress in the midterm elections. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom launched his redistricting campaign, calling it the Election Rigging Response Act. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us live in studio with the latest from Democrats and also Republican leaders on this. Jeannie?
Alex, the governor was joined by his fellow Democratic colleagues on the state and federal level as they all supported his efforts to redraw congressional lines here in California. The governor making it clear today that this is just in response to what President Trump is doing and that California can't sit by and watch this happen. Meanwhile, Republican leaders tell me they're doing everything in their power to stop mid-decade redistricting.
We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt, and we have got to meet fire with fire.
After weeks of teasing a possible special election, Governor Gavin Newsom launched the state's redistricting campaign Thursday morning with a plan to redraw the state's congressional maps as states like Texas continue to move forward with their efforts.
And here he is once again trying to rig the system. He doesn't play by a different set of rules. He doesn't believe in the rules.
Taking jabs at President Donald Trump, Governor Newsom says the state will redistrict in a transparent manner by letting the decision be up to the people.
And we'll be asking for the people on November 4th, a special election coinciding with a lot of local municipal elections, to provide a temporary pathway for congressional maps.
Congressional maps are normally drawn by the state's independent redistricting commission every decade using census data. The governor is proposing to temporarily bypass this process, and when lawmakers go back into session next week, they will work to get this ballot initiative approved by the August 22nd deadline.
It was right when we get back next week, he's going to put it before the legislature. If 2/3 of the legislature call a special election, what he wants to do is change our California Constitution away from a nonpartisan redistricting commission drawing the lines.
If maps are successfully redrawn, Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley's district would be impacted. He's already introduced a bill to ban mid-decade redistricting nationwide.
Because California voters have already settled this matter, because our Constitution now says that this process is not to be done by politicians. And what the governor and his allies are proposing is an enormous step backwards for our state.
When asked if he's concerned about losing his seat,
I feel like at the end of the day, we'll be fine.
The first hearing on the redistricting efforts will happen next Tuesday morning in the Senate Standing Committee on Elections and Constitutional Amendments. The State Assembly has also created a portal for people to submit public comment on what they want to see reflected in these maps. A link to that has been posted on our website at abc10.com. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you for that. And according to the State Assembly Speaker's office, we could see a new map as soon as tomorrow. Now, when lawmakers return next week, they are expected to take up 4 measures. First, a constitutional amendment to make a one-time change to how the state's redistricting commission works. Then 3 bills. So 1 to call a special election on November 4th, 1 to approve the new maps for all the 52 congressional districts, and then, of course, 1 to fund the election. Chris McKayley, adjunct professor of law for McGeorge School of Law, who follows actions at the Capitol very closely, says that it's going to be a tight deadline.
On Thursday would be the vote on this package of measures by both the Senate and the Assembly. And then again, the 3 bills would require immediate signature by the governor. By Friday, that is the deadline that our Secretary of State, Dr. Weber, has indicated is the last possible day in order for her to put on the November 4th election. Everything from getting the polling places ready to, of course, the voter pamphlet.
And tonight, many are wondering how much could a special election cost California right now. The Assembly Republican Caucus Office of Policy and Budget believes it could be more than $235 million. That analysis is based on the last statewide special election, the 2021 recall, which was just over $200 million. They say election costs have climbed sharply since then due to inflation and postage. Plus, there are just now more voters than in 2021. Now, we have reached out to the governor's office for comment. The Secretary of State's office tells ABC 10 they cannot confirm any numbers unless a special election is called, and the state and counties have an opportunity to estimate what costs they might occur. After the governor's rally today, Republican Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez announced that she filed a complaint against Governor Newsom with the Fair Political Practices Commission. So take a look at this. She alleges Newsom, quote, misused public funds for the purpose of launching a campaign for a ballot initiative. He misappropriated public monies to hold a rally and stream it on his taxpayer-funded and publicly run social media accounts. She says it's a violation of multiple laws. Republican Senator Tony Strickland agrees.
And the taxpayers paid for what was essentially a political rally, and they used government tax dollars in order to campaign, and that's wrong all the way around.
Governor Newsom's office rejects that characterization of today's event and refutes the complaint in a response to our team. When we asked him about this question, a spokesperson said today, quote, today's announcement was for a legislative package, something very much in line with the governor's official duties. They then directed us to the news release explaining Newsom's proposal. And this was the scene outside of the governor's press conference in Los Angeles today. Border Patrol agents were seen outside the venue in the Little Tokyo area. Border Patrol says that they were conducting a federal immigration enforcement operation. This did not go unnoticed, of course, by Governor Gavin Newsom, who responded on X calling out President Trump, saying it's no coincidence that agents showed up as he's speaking. Now, you can watch Governor Newsom's entire press conference anytime on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. It is on the home screen. And again, that app is completely free to download to your TV. Now, California's redistricting push all started in response to Texas's push. Tonight, Texas Democrats are closer to ending a nearly 2-week walkout that has blocked Republicans from redrawing Texas's congressional map. Today, Democrats announced that they will return to Texas if Republicans end a special session and California releases its own redrawn map proposal. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott still intends to push through a new map that would give the GOP 5 more winnable seats before next year's midterm elections. Texas House Democrats say that they need to return to build a strong public legislative record for an upcoming legal battle against a new map. Texas Democrats who flew into Chicago will not face civil arrest. Yesterday, a judge in Illinois denied Texas's plan to enforce arrest for the absent Texas House Democrats. The judge said his court did not have the jurisdiction to do what Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton wanted.